Tricia Gibson.
Mr Deputy Chair, and I want to echo my appreciation for the Honourable Member for Amber Valley for bringing this debate to the floor of the House today on the state pension age. There is great concern that the UK Government, according to reports anyway, plans to accelerate its current timeline for increasing the state pension age again, raising the pension age to 68 years by the end of, well, by 2034, I think is the figure we've been seeing. This means that those born in the 1970s or later could soon be told that a review of the increase in state pension age will further delay their retirement. And if the Minister can stand up today and commit to telling us that this is simply not going to happen, as the Honourable Member for Amber Valley said and the Honourable Lady said, we could all just go home and not worry about it. We would all be delighted. Now, the context of this is it's bad enough that the state pension is due to rise again from 66 to 67 by 2028. That's bad enough. It's even worse that the women born in the 1950s had their state pension age increased with little or no notice, a move which we know has robbed these women of tens of thousands of pounds of their hard-earned and expected state pension, throwing many of them into deep poverty and unnecessary hardship. All of that is bad enough. But now we find the prospect of the Government planning to bring forward the increase in retirement age to 68 forward from 2046 to affect anyone aged 54 or younger right now. Now, perhaps the Minister will say that no final decisions on these have been taken, but how could anyone, having witnessed how women born in the 1950s were treated, how could anyone have any real faith that this Government understands just how deeply such changes would impact, how these changes and the increase in retirement ages would impact disproportionately on those who have worked all their lives for poor pay? The UK already has one of the lowest pensions in Europe, and these plans will impact millions of people, many of whom are already struggling financially. Age UK has said that any government decision to accelerate the rise in the state pension age, and I quote, will condemn millions to a miserable and impoverished run-up to retirement and often beyond too. So many people are already in poor health by the time they reach their state pension, and they're already suffering financial hardship. Now, the chances are that if you speak, and as the Honourable Lady said, probably every one of us has, if you speak to women born in the 1950s, they will tell you that the biggest UK government swindle in recent memory was robbing their generation of their rightful state pensions at the age of 60. Many discovered, often by sheer accident, that their anticipated pensions would not arrive until years later, as it was equalised with men's. The anger, the sense of betrayal, the disappointment was only inflamed when we had UK government ministers bizarrely and insensitively insisting that this provided an opportunity for the women affected to train for new careers. Some of them then formed the campaign group Women Against State Pension Inequality, and that group continues to campaign for their injustice to be recognised and remedied, and they must be given the compensation that is their right, and I applaud the work that they've done. Because those women face delays of up to 6 years to access a state pension. 1 in 4 now struggle to make payments on crucial bills, and 1/3 are in debt, with single women being the worst affected. So what I would like to ask, if we are to avoid that happening again, is if the Minister can tell us, when she gets to her feet, what impact assessment the UK Government has carried out or will carry out on any further proposals to accelerate the rise of the state pension age to 68 by 2034, or indeed accelerating it at all. It seems to the people outside this chamber who are worried about this, or who have, as WASPy women, experienced this, it seems that this Government has developed a taste for robbing people of their hard-earned state pension. The website Interactive Investor calculates that bringing forward the increase to 68 for your pension age to 2034 could mean a lost year of full state pension of almost £17,000 for workers aged 46. London Royal Insurance have found that more than half of those aged 55 or over are likely to have the state pension as their main source of income, with 1.5 million of those in pre-state pension years, 31% with no savings to fall back on at all. And also many of them are struggling with caring responsibilities as well as financial responsibilities. Pensioners relying on state pension as their main source of income are more likely to have already undergone a working life of low pay. They are more likely to have health challenges in retirement, and they are more likely to have a shorter life expectancy. They are also the pensioners who simply cannot afford to retire early, even when health problems occur. Raising the retirement age even further will therefore have a disproportionate effect on poorer, older people who will enjoy fewer retirement years. A review of the state pension age in 2017 established that people should expect to spend a third of their adult life in retirement. But as we know, and as has already been said, life expectancy in the UK is at best stagnating. This seriously undermines the case for raising the state pension age. But I am afraid that these considerations will not impact on government thinking, nor, I fear, will the fact that the very logic which this government has used in the past for increasing state pension, rising life expectancy, will not apply. And if that's really the case, then I would remind the Minister that life expectancy rates have stalled across the UK but have actually fallen for the second year in a row in Scotland. Perhaps the Minister would like to factor that in when determining the state pension age. According to the UK Government's own argument, the logic that they have used so far suggests that even the state pension age should perhaps be falling. The UK Government must abandon any further acceleration in the state pension age across the UK, and all other parties, I hope, will join in opposing this and commit to continuing that opposition beyond the next election. As the Honourable Member for Amber Valley has told us, if you keep tinkering with and accelerating the state pension age with rises, you create uncertainty and undermine the whole concept that a state pension should provide, and it will fatally perhaps undermine it for future generations. The reality is that even talk of accelerating the state pension age it feels like a grubby smash and grab on the back of people's hard-earned pensions to try to fill the black hole in the UK's finances, which are a consequence of 13 years of austerity. 13 years of austerity, which of course started under Labour's Gordon Brown and has continued ever since, compounded by the damage of Brexit, to which Labour is fully signed up, cynically and disingenuously pretending that there is such a thing as a good Brexit after all. Labour knows this, but it's so desperate to win seats in England it will say anything, but the public are watching. To raise the age of the state pension age even further is bad enough. To raise it even faster than originally planned as a cost-cutting measure is unforgivable. People in Scotland were told in 2014 that the only way to protect their state pension was to vote no to independence. And here we are, 9 years later, and the state pension does not support the minimum standard of living. Pensioners have already been short-changed by £6,500 on average due to the state pension underpayments to around 237 older people, and a further 100,000 potential underpayments identified, which will take a year to correct. And let's not forget how easily the government discarded its manifesto commitment to retain the triple lock, the abandonment of which means that current state pension payments are £520 less than they otherwise would have been. We must all learn from the huge injustice perpetrated on WASPI women, and I applaud their campaign for justice, but we cannot permit even more people to be robbed of tens of thousands of pounds of their rightful state pension as life expectancy stalls or even falls in Scotland, whilst a government is desperately seeking to fill its black financial hole because of its own incompetence and therefore has decided to pick a fight over pensions. This is an outrage, and in the dying days of this government, as it thrashes around seeking to pick the pockets of others to pay for its own economic mismanagement, we must say enough is enough.